All right, next interview with Greg. Greg Faughnan, one of BonaResponds leader for 2 years. And Greg, welcome back.
Thanks.
First of all. Thanks for coming. For the interview. B, keep coming back. I do mean that. One of the things I really dislike about BonaResponds, and it's not much, but I do dislike that when people graduate, I often never see them again. So thank you for coming back as much as you have been. Why don't you just tell a little about what BonaResponds, your experience with BonaResponds, and I'll interrupt you frequently.
Okay. Yeah. So
Stop.
I started coming out my junior year, I think. I don't really know why I didn't before, but just kind of, I guess we can talk about my first.
Your first day,
outing.
Sure. Yeah. So what happened on your first day?
Well, I didn't feel very good to begin with. I guess we'll probably just leave it at that.
Yeah,
and then,
sure.
We were working at like a horse farm, clearing out trees and stuff so the horses would have more room to run around. And I cut my hand.
Still have a scar?
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty big.
Just and I've told you before, but I never thought we'd see you again. I mean, one and done.
Yeah.
He comes out within the first 5 minutes, cuts his hand wide open, and never thought we'd see you again.
Yeah, I got over it though.
Yeah.
But then after that, I mean, I started coming sort of regularly, especially after the Camden trip.
Okay, so
Midterm.
Camden, New Jersey.
Yep.
So that was midterm your junior year.
Yep.
Okay.
And then so we did a lot locally. Definitely, probably most of what we did was Hurricane Sandy relief.
So that was November of that year.
Yeah.
So you're November of your junior year.
Yep. That's when that really kind of started, and I'm not even sure how many times I ended up going down. It was around 10 though.
Well, it probably is because the group has made 14 trips down, and you missed a couple, but not very many of them.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's so many ways we could go, and we could literally be here for hours, or at least until my battery runs dead here. But just quick first impressions when you first got down to Sandy. First, we were down in Rockaway. First, 2 days after the storm, basically.
It was all very overwhelming. It seemed like there was a lot of people there that were sort of disorganized and not necessarily pointed as to where to go, kind of standing around, not really sure what to do. And there was just so much to do with the flood. Pretty much all the houses are affected in the area. And it was kind of overwhelming. But once we started working, we had a big group.
Yeah, we did. We had a really big group.
And I guess I was surprised with how much we got done. Too. It was after we got going.
So, I mean, I guess there were so many things on that day, and I think maybe at some point I'll do a special video just on it. I've already talked with Alan and a few others from down there that I want to talk with them on it. But just the overwhelmingness, that was one of the handful of times that I've ever been really scared that, not for us, I didn't think it was bad for us at all, but I was scared for the people immensely. When we had the luxury of being able to go home,
we could leave.
We could leave. They couldn't,
Yep.
and I mean, 13 hours for the first trip when they were waiting for gas.
Yeah.
I just can't even imagine. Just so much like that, and no power, and quite a few. I mean, it was cold. I got scared on that one for them. I think it turned out very fortunately that as few people died as did die.
Right. And especially, when we were first down there, the people are saying that they didn't think they'd have power for weeks or a month or something like that, because they had to come and inspect every single house before they turned the power back on to avoid fires.
So, and we made many trips there. And some of them with not very many people. So I want to talk about two that I think will probably forever be burned in my brain. One, first, and I almost wish Frankie were here to talk about it, but the Christmas break trip of 2012 into 2013.
Yep.
Breezy Point. First word, let's get mind association here, word association. Breezy Point. Then that trip.
It was freezing.
Yes.
We were staying at the Breezy Point Fire Hall, which was
Point Breeze, right?
Oh yeah, Point
Breeze.
Yeah, sorry. And it was kind of like a giant concrete freezer that Jim decided we should stay in.
Why not? Why not?
And to heat it, we had like some electric heaters, which didn't really do anything. And like
kerosene heater for a couple days.
Yeah,
till we ran out.
It was gone by the time I got there. I think because I showed up a little late. And those giant like outdoor propane heaters.
Yeah.
And I mean, we were safe. You laid a carbon monoxide detector against it, I think, or something, which was good. And we were. The thing I remember about that,
what do you remember?
Like 42 degrees.
I know 43. I don't know. Yeah, so I'll just call you a liar. But, don't exaggerate.
Okay. But yeah, I remember everyone was sleeping like in little groups to try to stay warm.
It was just so cold. It was
Yeah,
and then how about the shower? Remember the trailer?
The trailer, that was cold and didn't drain.
Yeah, so you would step into what?
It was like a puddle of used shower water that had been there for God knows how long.
That was so awful. That I think that was sort of a I don't know what to call it, a survival test.
Yeah. I think that was...
But we got a ton done.
Yeah, we really did.
I mean, it was...
Because no one wanted to go home.
Was like, please let me work later. It's warm, at least when I'm working. Yeah.
And I guess that was probably one of my favorite things that I pulled out of BonaResponds doing this, is that I could be in a situation like that where it was cold, we were tired, we were working, and I could still be happy and really enjoy what I was doing, even though it wasn't like the greatest thing.
Well, let's just go a little further then. And times when working and maybe not so happy. So just for those of you who don't know, Greg likes his coffee, and Greg...
Especially, what time did we get in?
I think we got in about 5 a.m.
And what time did we wake up?
I know the one guy was there at 7.
Yeah.
And Tom, I think it was?
Yeah, moving stuff around.
Yeah. So we got a good 2 hours, good solid 2 hours.
Yeah, it was a restful 2 hours.
Yeah, yeah. So then we go in and we start working, and you were just
not a very happy person. If Rich Miller wasn't there, I might have killed you that day.
That was a day. It was May. But it was probably the coldest May in recorded history. I'm making slight exaggeration, but it was awfully cold, awfully wet.
It was raining,
Yeah, and but again, I mean, we got a lot done.
We did.
And
we raised that gigantic deck, like
a
foot and a half or something like that.
Yeah, got a lot. I was very impressed with it. We rebuilt. We took off all the plywood and put new not deck boards, 2x6s all the way across. Yeah. Yeah,
that was the trip where it was just you and me.
for parts of it, yeah.
Yeah, that were staying there. That was I remember we got Chinese food.
Oh yeah.
And thought it was like the greatest thing ever, eating our Chinese food around
the
blue menorah.
Yes, yeah.
Because there wasn't any outlets
there were no lights in place, and for some reason we were staying in I remember the Christ Church.
Yeah.
Something like that. And there was a menorah, and that was the only light we had. So, I mean, it worked wonderfully. A blue menorah in a Christian church in a cold May.
Yeah.
So then we actually went home early that trip. We cut it off early. How come?
Because we went to Oklahoma the next week.
Yeah.
It was right after all the tornadoes.
So talk a little about Oklahoma.
Oklahoma was
a long drive.
Yeah, it was definitely. That was really, I think, kind of what stuck out for a while. Was the drive was long, but with the tornado, it was, especially after working for so long on flood relief. Tornadoes it was kind of weird because someone's house could be totally gone, and like their neighbor, there's like flowers in the yard and it looks great. Like there was nothing that even happened. And I guess for that, I was just kind of impressed with the wide kind of like variety of people that showed up to help, I guess.
Yeah.
And that was probably one of my favorite things from that trip was we had that one day where we were working and we were there. There was a Christian organization, there's a Jewish organization, there's
two Jewish organizations,
a Muslim organization, and
yeah, I mean,
and everyone was just kind of like working together. It was like a very nice kind of world peace day.
Absolutely. I loved it when Israel Aid showed up, and I mean the Muslim INJA, is it? Mm-hmm. Was working, and it was really, really cool, I thought. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, and pretty much we would just run chainsaws for
much of the time.
like 8 to 10 hours a day. And
Yeah. That last day there was one of my more fun days. I loved that. Whenever I can fill up a chainsaw and run it completely through until we run out of gas with no interruptions, oh my goodness, it's fun. Yeah.
That was a good trip for sure.
Yeah. Father Kevin, we stayed with him.
Kevin.
Well, he helped us. We didn't stay with him, but that was a good trip. And the whole thing about going down. Remember when the storm was tornado was coming up?
Yeah. So we decided to stop at a hotel for the night because there's a tornado coming up the highway that we were driving
so
on.
we routed south to avoid it, and added probably 3.5, 4 hours to an already incredibly long drive.
I forgot that happened, and we didn't really know where we were staying for a while or something with that.
Like a while being almost the entire time, but
there's that.
There were many times. We actually left our stuff at the homeless shelter the one day. Decided against it, and for the first time and maybe only time, I don't know, no promises, but we ended up staying in a hotel. Spent some money, but it was money well spent. Think how hot it was. In fact, the week we left, and this is to people who are listening, the week we left, there were several cases of heat stroke. It was working that chainsaw for that long. It got really hot. And I think the whole whatever it was, $70 a night or whatever it was for all of us. I mean, it wasn't it was a cheap hotel.
Right.
Maybe not in the best of neighborhoods. I mean, what was next to the hotel?
A strip club.
Oh yeah, well,
it took like a lot of willpower, pretty much all that I had, to just not check us in with BonaResponds and Jim Mahar at the strip club, because that was like the first thing that came up on
his
my
phone. He's just so you know, on his phone. I mean,
we didn't go, but
No, but when we got into the pool after the hot day, it made the
that
$70
awesome.
worth it.
I would have paid $70 just for that.
It was like in Alabama we did something similar. We went in a water pool, like outside, just a water hole. But local stuff. I think one of the things that makes you stand out more than just about anyone else is that your willingness to continually, week in, week out, come out and help. I mean, whether it's here on campus, in fact, I'm very happy, and so much so that my family still talks about it, that you were the first Marge Mahar Scholarship winner. And for service, and I am positive she would have absolutely loved your work ethic. So. Thank you, even though there were times when I know you want to kill me.
Happens. Kind of comes with the territory, I guess.
Well, thank you for not doing it yet. I mean, I do.
The plans are.
The plans are still underway. Okay.
Gotta call Nate later.
Well, not sure if I want you two talking to each other, but okay. So. One of my favorite things, and there's all kinds of joking goes around, and I honestly, I even though I don't think he's going to kill me, it's possible. I do. I mean, to this day, I mean, how many times a day do you, Reed, Jen, others text back and forth? I mean, it's constant.
Pretty much.
One of my favorite quotes you've ever had is something to the effect of, "What we do, there's not a whole lot special about what we do." You want to just talk about that for a little?
Yeah, so I think what I said was that basically the actual work that we're doing day to day, there's nothing outstandingly special. Anyone can swing a hammer, use a saw, carry whatever it is that we're doing.
Listen. Really. Take pictures. I mean.
A lot of it is anyone can do it. Really, the difference is we just do it every weekend. That's, it's not like a special thing necessarily what we're actually doing, but the effect that it has on people and how you can impact their lives is. And it's very, very simple, just doing something little. Even like today, just talking to Mary for a while. It seemed great, and I don't know.
Mary, for those who don't know, today we helped. They're not going to know. Mary was is a 91-year-old woman from Olean who was going to lose her insurance, and we went in, and I mean, it wasn't a lot. We tore up a sidewalk and scraped some paint and put in some gravel. And basically, you cut some trees back. But to her, it was a big deal,
Yeah.
and she was very, very happy. And I think that's most people are like that. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not a incredible, to change the world. You don't necessarily need to move the world. You just
Right.
need to get someone around a roadblock or get them up a ramp or something.
Yeah, and I think maybe a lot of times people don't come out to volunteer because they don't feel like they know how to do anything. I really didn't know. I mean, I'm still terrible with the circular saw, but I really didn't know how to do a lot of the stuff.
Right. Well,
I've never used a
neither did I.
chainsaw before, and you pick up on it pretty quick, though, and it's really not that tough.
Yeah.
do
Before
it
Katrina, I never
reasonably
used a chainsaw. I had done a few of the other things, but never a chainsaw. One of my other favorite projects that I've ever done with you, and it was, I really do think that this speaks volumes about Greg. It was only the two of us, and when we went to get Carol out of the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to talk? I will.
Yeah, you could talk about that for a little bit, I guess.
So Carol.
Because I don't remember a lot of the background from that.
Well, Carol had some health issues. Obviously, she was at the hospital, and her family's not in the area anymore. And we went, helped get arranged to have her released from the hospital. Picked her up. We took her out. You drove.
Yep.
You drove your car, actually. My car was too messy.
Couldn't fit. Well, two.
Yeah, yeah. But at least it was an element. We have standards. So went out and went shopping for her. Went to pharmacy,
the pharmacy
and the grocery to fill her prescriptions. And then we got back, and we had someone, Mike from town, had plowed it out, except for the last 50 feet.
Yeah,
something
like
that.
It was pretty good. It was a big driveway, so I was happy.
Yeah, we got up a lot further than I thought we were going to be able to get in.
Yep.
And then Greg carried her, literally picked her up and carried her in. And it was a really just a touching moment that you didn't know her. I mean, you had met her in the hospital, and that was it.
Yeah.
And that really meant a lot. I know to them and to me. And it's been a year now, and I still say thank you for that.
I mean, even that took, like an hour and a half, maybe? It was pretty quick. And,
I mean, it wasn't a ton.
Yeah, you don't have to, carry someone, obviously, but...
No. That's probably one of the only times we've ever actually done that.
Yeah.
I got a couple times, not many. I don't think anyone ever alone. I think we've done a few wheelchair lifts in or something, but all right, so, I mean, others we'll talk about, but I just want to switch gears a little.
Okay.
On a non-BonaResponds trip. Just Responds, yes. I was talking to Alicia last week, and she has that on her resume. Oh, yeah. She actually, so Just Responds is now a thing.
Okay.
And so, talk about Haiti.
Haiti was, it was probably my favorite trip. We took a lot, but
took a lot. What do you mean?
A lot of trips.
A lot of trips. Okay. Yeah.
But that one especially, it felt like there's kind of two sides. One, it was very overwhelming, and we were never going to get everything that we needed to done because there's just so much to do. But two, it also felt like we had gotten so much done, even being there for
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Well, I guess we'll play word association again. Leogan.
I guess what was surprising to me about Leogan was...
That's a city we worked in Haiti, by the way.
How many people are still living in temporary housing?
Yeah.
I think they said that probably about a third of the houses have been rebuilt. And that's been how many years?
4.
Yeah. And, you haven't... Haiti's not really in the news anymore. Right after the disaster, you obviously saw all the fundraisers and everything. And now it's just kind of out of people's minds, I think. And that was definitely important for me to see that there's still so many people there that don't even have a house yet.
Yeah. And I one of the things that strikes me about Haiti constantly, one is the incredible poverty, the abject, I mean, there's no margin of error. If someone gets sick, they don't go to school. If someone, I mean, they can't afford to go to school. They may not eat that week. I mean, there's tons, there's no...
And even just how frequently, talking to our friends back there, how often we hear that they're sick or they're in the hospital or something like that's going on.
Yeah.
It's
And-
like about every few weeks, it
Yeah.
seems like.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. And the second is how incredibly giving most of them are.
Right.
Give your shirt off the back.
Yeah.
Give us their shirt off, whatever the saying is. Their shirt off their back. It's just it's mind-boggling that
Right.
they
They
can-
have so little, but they're still willing to share with us.
Yeah,
Because,
and willing to help. And
Yeah.
I mean, if you talk to them,
Yep.
oh, my goal is to advance Haiti, to make
Yeah.
Haiti a better country, to help for the people coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I was blown out of the water when one said, I'm too old, I'll never see an improvement. He was 24. I mean,
Yep.
it's just unreal. So
Yeah.
that obviously was an amazing trip.
Yeah.
From how we stayed to stayed in at the family's home
Yep. Yeah. That was.
with Wesley. I
Yeah.
mean, just that was, I think, much better than staying out anywhere else.
Yeah, definitely.
And just everything. I mean, working in the schools to
Yeah.
seeing where the books and stuff that we sent down, where they went. I mean,
Yeah.
it was really good.
Yeah, that was definitely another good thing that we had sent however many barrels of school
Yeah.
supplies and books down. Then we actually took them to the schools.
Yeah.
That was really great to see that
Yeah.
it was actually getting there and
Yeah,
meeting like the kids that were going to be using it, which was
yeah,
it was special.
yeah. The whole thing. Yeah, absolutely. Anything else? So I guess what are you doing now?
I just started my first year of medical school in Syracuse, so a lot of school left, but
Yeah, well, that's good. That's school is always good, right? What if I mean, first off, is there anything else you want to talk about besides killing me? That does you can't put secret code in
yeah.
here to get the no.
yeah. I think that we covered most of this stuff, really. Probably, I guess, what you talked for a little bit about how I came out locally a lot. And I think one of the things that you said on one of our Hurricane Sandy relief trips was that you had a volunteer say he felt like a better person on the trips volunteering, and that we didn't need to drive however many hundreds of miles away to do that.
Sure.
And that really stuck out in my mind and had a lot to do with why I came out every weekend. And it kind of becomes like a habit after, I mean, it's just, oh, it's Saturday, it's time to go volunteer.
But it's so true too that I mean, we could go down. Well, we did out in Oklahoma. People, will you build a wheelchair ramp?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But that person in Oklahoma definitely needs a wheelchair ramp. But
Right.
so does the person
Down the road.
6 miles away, or
Yeah.
2 miles away, whatever the case may be. Yeah. So a lot of need, unfortunately.
Right.
And I think this past opening when the beginning mass, Father Dan did one of my favorite. Maybe not. I'm not the most religious guy in the world. We know that, but did one of my favorite talks with the miracle of the fish and loaves and fishes, and he cited the idea that there's maybe Jesus didn't actually do this physical manipulation of turning fish and multiplying, but everyone had something to offer, and when everyone offers it, there's plenty to go around.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that we see, and it's whoever shows up, we find they work, and it works well. So, yeah. Anything else? I don't think I have. Just thank you. I do have one other thing. You want to go or something, but I'm to his family as well. Thank you. Both your mom and your dad have been regular donors, whether it's to the garden programs in Haiti, whether it's to our food packing day. Your dad and his brother, who did he come up with? Someone else was here, right?
When?
For food packing.
Oh, yeah. It was my mom's brother.
Okay, yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it just a great family.
Yep.
Pat came.
Yeah. And their kids Jack and Owen. They had a lot of fun. They still kind of talk about that every
Do
now
they?
and then when we're home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. But, great. So thank you for that, and just thanks for everything. Stay involved, whether you're here or Syracuse or wherever you go.
All right. Thanks.
Yep, thank you.